most people don't think of her because they're not expecting it. Calico Jack. So let me show you what Calico Jack looked like, and everybody wants to see him because this is the real Captain Jack Sparrow that you see from the Disney movies. He was named Calico Jack because of the jackets he wore. They were stolen from the British captains that he killed. So Calico Jack, fancy jacket. So that's why he was named Calico Jack. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. None of you gave me the word King or Kingston. The only place I would actually expect Kingston to come out of would be Eric's device. So again, because he is more susceptible to pick up disembodied voices, more like what you hear on TV, versus just the radio stations, would give you the word king. So there's the answer that you guys actually asked me. And I might be able to answer for you about pirates or whatever you decided to ask Aunt Bonnie. Besides about all the decomposed body and somebody else being here and O'Mary and all kinds of sexual innuendos that were all in that crazy story. So, let's see. I'm going to start collecting devices. You guys can ask me a million more questions. You guys, first off, do you all know where you're at? You said you're a calm person? No, I am not a calm person. I have to stay on my toes because I just heard it was like you're a calm person. As far as the groups, like, do you guys know where you're at as far as getting back to your vehicles? I know where you guys park. They're easy to get back to. Do you guys park at the beginning?
We're at, like, Redwood and King.
You're going to go this way?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are going to go that way.
Property.
Property.
He's not
I'm
kicking
taking
us back.
that from him before he gets the more stuff to write down. I don't want the earbuds. So, and he had it on a speed level that was a little higher than normal.
Oh.
It looked like it was going a lot quicker than speed
Good
one.
vessel. Yeah,
it was a little bit too slow.
You know, you guys actually showed me a good time tonight. So when I get to laugh and chuckle and actually like try to turn my head, trying to keep up with you guys, that's a good night for me. So thank you for that. Like, I don't always have that. Just
I'll go over there where we kind of were. Sean. Oh. Hi. I love you.
I love you. I know what you were saying.
What? I wasn't going to say anything. Right here? I wasn't going to say anything. Huh? No, use both of them. No? Here, let me like get a side angle. No, don't hit me with the laser. Stop!
Are you serious? Don't burn you?
And that's what it's supposed to do, right?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, well stop.
It blinds you.
Well, don't do that. Be careful.
No, comes. Oh. Because I think she probably wanted to talk to me. I don't want to talk to you after no, too solid.
No!
It doesn't burn you.
Okay, stop. That's so scary.
I mean, maybe if you leave it on there for a couple seconds.
No, stop!
It doesn't.
Ow. My
Mommy,
arm
ow.
burns.
Huh?
My arm is stinging.
Somebody's grabbing you.
I know.
A
For
ghost
real,
is it still?
hurts.
Is it hurting right now?
Yes.
Like how bad?
Like it's stinging. Shine your flashlight.
Here.
No, cause like it hurts. Like right there where that bruise is. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It feels like it's stinging. Mom. 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 We were over there and we were like videoing, and out of nowhere I'm getting like stinging pain in my arm right here. Like it stings so bad. It feels like I got bit, but I don't think it's a bug bite. It stings though.
You okay?
Yeah, it just really stings. We were over there like videoing and out of nowhere like stinging on my arm.
Well, funny thing, a minute ago, this said, I'm coming out.
Coming out.
I said, no, it didn't.
No,
if it
like,
gets attached to you, I'll see
So
that
that kind
outside.
of makes sense.
so are you gonna get a ghost up your butt? No.
Hey, no,
Don't
stop,
take anything
stop.
home.
No, bro, don't take anything home.
That-
I won't.
It's gone now. Like it.
Well, I'm gonna check on Eric because he said he had some chest pains earlier too. Like that's common. Like that is a common thing. Not on a person his size, but
Yeah.
definitely something common.
What did it just say?
It was like I don't know what was that.
It says
That was
coming for you.
ridiculous.
It's coming.
Ooh. Oh. Do you want to try to go back over there?
Yeah, let's go. Ghost, we allow you to come out in the parking lot.
Come get me.
Don't say that, because if you give permission,
I'm just kidding. Don't come get me.
we do not give you permission to touch us.
I do not give you permission to touch me. Or Angela. He's my man.
I gave you permission to do a
Yeah, I
sign
feel
so
it getting in my back.
maybe if I die or pass out, permission to make sure my head's straight before.
I promise.
Then,
Yes.
no, it's fine. Babe, who was that? I like to try to scare you.
Hmm. I got a headache. I'm not even lying. I got a straight headache.
I thought you were like,
That crap's banging too.
I got straight poop.
Oh, yeah. I got a like banging headache.
You still have it?
I know, not really.
It says only overnight.
I know, that's so weird.
Well, I heard 6 feet under. They said under 6 or something
Yeah,
like that.
under 6. I'm still gonna relate that to the 2 Howard Hardy story
Right.
because of the 6 days. So again, that's why I showed that. Yes, London.
They also heard crossfire.
Crossfire. See, this is what happens at the powder magazine. I ended up like almost running out of paper because you guys get really good at doing this. And I'm just writing things down. Wow.
I just went back over there and like, Mom, when we went back over
He's
there,
getting like full names over there.
we went back
No,
over
I don't think it
there.
was full name. It was two separate.
Yeah, but together it would be a full name.
Yeah.
I mean, you did have a full name earlier too.
When we went back over there, like banging instantly in my head, walked away fine. It's so weird.
And what's the highest color you've seen? Was it that pinkish purple?
Why don't you take your shoes off?
I thought it was my chair.
First is get him a job.
Right?
All right, let's head over towards the wall, everybody.
Never had gotten what?
Damn, that was a little bit rough, you know.
It's so weird.
I feel so many. I don't even totally right.
Check out that whole spot. Is there something right there?
Something about old age. I heard he told me something. He's like, I told you, I'm a pirate.
No.
So what's funny, Eric, your device, I've only had that a few times. So the second night I'm using it, I'm taking it from the person and packing it up, and it says pirate, plain as day. Like, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It wasn't like, hey, this is the Pittsburgh Pirates playing. You know, it was like pirate, like just a plain word. And you heard what now?
I heard, I forgot what he
Said,
said.
hey, I'm a pirate.
He's like, yeah, he's like, I'm a pirate, buddy. Or like, he's like, I'm a pirate. Pass out? Is that the name of the ship?
No. That's what happened to that kid back in September.
I remember. He's like, I just told you I'm a pirate.
Wow. Well, we're gonna stop before I literally run out of paper. Wow. Nice job, everybody. You guys got used to those fear boxes really, really fast, which is always nice for me, instead of like trying to explain it while we're still here. You know what I mean? Way down here at this location. Any weird words come out of your word list there, Lisa?
No,
Nothing else that you would know of? And of course, it's always nice to have a fresh set. What was it?
Child just popped up.
Paul?
Child.
Child.
Just popped up, yeah.
Getting deep and dark with Ann Bonnie tonight. I'll show you the mugshot of Ann Bonnie so you guys know who the hell we were hunting down. I want you to know, like, this is one of the few pictures you can find of her with a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare a breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. So, yeah, I told you, I get teenage boys on this tour. I don't need angry moms. So, again, this is why we're looking at the picture of her that we do have. Obviously, her hair color, Jeanna, was red.
Yeah.
So, we do get the word red that will show up out of 3 nights in a row. We had it out of yours, we had it direct on yours, which means they had to touch it, and then we also had it show up on Lisa's word list. This was consecutive nights, back to back to back. That's why I wanted to try to continue that. That was like a week and a half ago that all occurred. The names of her parents: William Cormack, Mary Brennan. None of you were expecting a secondary Mary. We did get that. Oh, Mary. I got to write that one down. That's a big one. So the reason why is because I gave you that question is because we already talked about Mary Reed, her friend from the ship, not Mary Brennan, her mother. You can already see where this one's going. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, they get married, and Cormac becomes Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. When they get down there, this is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. In her eyes, he's a coward. So this is not who she wants. A few years later, she falls in love again. This guy's name is John Rackham, aka Calico Jack. This is literally the real person that they based Captain Jack Sparrow's character off of. So, Calico Jack has his own ship and Anne wants to be part of it, but you can't put a girl on the crew because girls curse pirate ships. So, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. So she's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to hide her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, I'm a pirate, let's go. Most of us are near adult ages here. We can put 2 and 2 together that being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate on the ship. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby over here, come back later, we'll figure it out later. Well, she goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. She's also dressed like a female. She doesn't give a damn anymore about hiding her gender, and this makes Jack pretty angry. And while she was away giving birth to Jack's child, there's another pirate crew that he captured down below deck, and Anne's going to go flirting with that crew just to make Jack even more angry. Guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females on the same ship trying to be men as pirates. So her name is Mary Reed. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers, we're never going to know for certain, but the British find out where they are, and they send all of their fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight. Go ahead.
I heard someone said, "Oh, Mary."
We have an Oh Mary. Good deal. You have anything coming up on yours before I continue? Action? I'm sure there was a little bit of action going on with the pregnancy, right? So, I know, right? All right, let's get Gina's mind out of the gutter. So Anne and Mary, the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight, with 1 bullet flintlocks, by the way, probably because they don't know how to use the cannon jet, and they're obviously going to get taken because 2 ladies trying to take on a fleet of ships is not going to work out. So as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog is obviously prominent for spear foxes. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly by themselves. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates who wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front of the judge. His name is Nick too, by the way, so if you hear my name, it's not me, it's the judge. They reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. They're still pirates in his eyes. He's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they said, meaning they're both claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail. Dad is still here in Charlestown area with all of his Irish money because he was an attorney over there. He bails her out. She remarries. That's husband number 2. Guy number 4. We're going to count Mary Reed, especially since Gina's comment. So, and she has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt ending. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died a year later, 1721, from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. So take that for what it's worth. It was probably scurvy and funky and gross. Use your imagination. I left out two things in here for all you Spirit Box teams. I'm not going to give you a slur of questions because you all know what you're doing by now, especially Ian, because he's on it. I love the fact that he's like interrupting. It's awesome. So, that's good stuff. The two questions I left out are the name of Anne Bonny's parents. Remember, that's the father and the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. Anything else you want to ask is fair game. So again, take that for what it's worth. Those of you with cameras, if you want to leave the lot and make a left to get some footage of the front of the powder magazine, you can do that. So obviously take an adult with you. The only thing that I'll ask is that you do not interrupt the other tours. You're not going to be there for very long. Kind of wait your turn or come back to this lot. But I am going to steal you for one more minute. And I know, history's long, Zoe. I seen you like, oh, he's still talking. So, now, at the very beginning of the story, I told you like about the heated warning. There's a reason for it. And I see a lot of weird, uncanny things, but this one always sticks out, especially at the end. So, back in September of last year, I brought a group back here, same size, and the kid next to me literally goes white as a ghost and starts to drop like a wet noodle. I have to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground, and his boyfriend picks him up from the other side, and we get him over to that wall. He's feeling much better after a bottle of water, and I was like, all right, I'm going to tell the story now. They don't know what you guys now know about Anne Bonny. So after I spread everybody out to go play with their devices on our one last stop, one last hurrah, they pull me aside and say, Nick, we have to tell you, we are two transgender males. Meaning I had two females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story. And it made complete sense as to why one of them passed out the minute we entered the space. It was not a hot night, it was not a humid night, and there would have been no reason for that kid to pass out right next to me the minute we entered the space. When I say he went white as a ghost, he went white as a ghost. So again, these things are uncanny. That's why I have to put that heated warning out there, because I never know what's going to happen. So, with that said, let's have fun, everybody. I know, right? With EMFs, you're not going to see a lot. It's all about the colors with yours. If you're going to get anything out of yours, Brandi, super great. I'll be super stoked. But with yours, turn on that REM pod, ask Anne Bonny what her hair color is. See if she gives you an answer. That's the little white button in the back. All right, let's spread out. Let's have some fun. What her hair color is. You've been getting that answer a lot.
You can keep the laser.
Huh? She was walking so fast.
Right here. Miss R. Alright. Turn on the grid. Don't aim it at me, be careful. Aim it on the ground.
Okay, come on, let's go over here. By the house. Do you want to go by the front of the house?
No. Do you want to go right?
I want to go by the house.
Okay, I don't think we can go to the front.
We just said if you got to the left.
Stop going so fast. I'm not going to be able to see anything with the lights.
Oh. Probably because the meter. Oh, wait, yeah.
What is amoxicillin? It's an antibiotic.
Okay, so. Sorry. Aim it right here. Be careful because of the cars. Aim it down here at the ground. That's too far. Yeah.
Oh, it smells like spirits.
I'm not getting anything. That's good. Yeah. I meant right here. I doubt I'm gonna see anything though because of that light. Yeah, let's go back over here. No, she's not. That looks creepy. It looks like a witch's house. Huh? I don't think. That's scary.
I'm serious.
That reminds me of Romeo and Juliet. There's your drink.
Alright, anything else going on
Be
with this
careful,
beer?
it's wet.
First day.
So look at
What do you got on yours, Lisa? You heard the number 6?
Under 6?
Yeah, it was like
Under 6 or something like that.
Alright, so that kind of steers me in a different direction. That's okay. Larry, did you get anything? Alright, so did you guys all notice the larger ghost doors like around this corner over here? There's a reason for why they all go over there. I usually just kind of like let them have it because it's like their one show and tell, but you guys gave me a very specific number to that story, so of course I'm going to throw it at you. So that way you guys all know why they go over there. So, first off, there are 2 different sides to St. Philip's Cemetery. I'm sure Brandy's going to get us some really cool pictures of the steeple once we start investigating the location. But the reason why I bring up the 2 different sides is because there's an eastern side, which is where everybody goes to go stare at a sign over there, and this is the western side. This is where John Calhoun is buried, by the way, for you history buffs. So your 7th vice president is buried on the other side of this wall, and that's because he's not from here. You can only be buried on the eastern side if you're from Charleston. Well, he just lived here a long time, so they shuffled his ass back and forth trying to figure out where he was supposed to go. Turns out he's not from here. He just lived here a long time. So he's over here in a sarcophagus on this side. But they're all over there staring at a sign that says, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." Yes, there's a sign at a church that reads that exact thing that they put there. The reason why is because in 1888, a young lady died by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. So Sue Howard Hardy, we talked about initials. SHH. It's cheesy, it's campy. I hate telling you guys that part of the story, but we see it and hear it all the time. Is that a cicada behind me or a cricket or something? Okay. I just wondered, did somebody have an extra app running that I didn't know about? Right? So the reason why we all talk about that is because she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. 1987. Local photographer's taking pictures of all of our beautiful cemeteries, and he does capture a full apparition in one of his photographs. And that's what all the ghost tours love to show off, is that photograph. What they won't tell you is that the picture is cursed. So any females that handle it, like touching a tablet or your phone, with this picture in it, is obviously going to have some kind of side effect. We talked about headache, nausea, and dizziness at the beginning of the tour. That's the type of symptoms females would normally have by handling this picture, even in a digital format. The other piece of that is that if a pregnant female is handling that picture, they're probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story of a stillborn child. So I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great vacation and 9 months later I cursed your family.
Is that another ghost tour?
It is. Yeah, that's the size of another ghost tour.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about the
And we
ghost
are
tour. I was
full
talking about
here.
that.
So yeah, that's the difference.
Has anybody said like they have a heavy chest as they're walking up
I
here?
get a lot of that, especially at this
Because
location.
I felt that as I was walking.
Very
Like really, just like
biggest guy here is the guy who's about to go down.
no, not like
I laughed.
But I
like somebody
do-
pressing on my chest.
Honestly, I hear it all the time.
I
I'm
don't know.
being
It was
completely
ghost
candid
tours.
with you. These are not things I make up for
Right.
obvious reasons. But I am going to show you guys this picture.
Oh.
However, females don't touch the tablets. That's, again, so we don't need any kind of, this is a space
Why
where
did you not switch?
things can actually occur. So I'm going to go 2 by 2 and kind of show everybody the photographs so everybody can kind of see it for
How do I
themselves.
turn this on?
I'm going to start with Zoe and Angelo. So this is the full picture that the photographer took. The apparition is right here. She is praying over her own grave, and that is a baby basket next to her.
Scary.
Yeah. Again, 1987 photograph. You could see where things got a little weird. You're looking at her shoulders and her back. She's
Wait,
praying
up or
over
down?
her own grave with the
Where'd
baby
you
basket
take
next to her. Where's she from? She would have been from Charleston since she's buried on that side. Now, the other weird piece about this is we talked about Baby Shores back at the Pinker Mansion site with, him obviously being married with his mom. This is probably another instance.
Do you want your lasers back
You
then?
cannot find any records. Or,
Okay, hold on. Oh.
How about whenever we walk around the village and use the lasers, okay?
Nope.
they're saying
Give me my camera back. It's fine.
with the baby basket, even when you zoom in further on a computer screen, you can see the weaving with that. Like it's clear. So it's pretty crazy stuff. But this is everybody's last hurrah. That's I let them have it. We're here for pirates. Obviously, my show and tell is all the devices in your hands that you guys have been using all night long and capturing a lot of like good starter evidence. So let's talk about why we're here. So we're here at the Powder Magazine, which is the little tiny building over there. I bring us back here because you see the other tours like to cut through. I just like to stay out of their way. So that little tiny building over there, those are not crosses first off. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're unfamiliar with earthquake bolts, they're basically turnbuckles. You can turn them if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that we've already talked about, and it'll straighten the building back up from any damage that it incurred on it. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So again, the only reason I bring these up is because those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in, because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina, finished in 1713. So we are here because this building is what I call a familiar to Anne Bonny when she started her pirate career right here in Charleston. It's kind of like using a toy to attract your child ghost. It's the same principle, which is why we're here. But we talked about the Charlestown walls earlier. Does everybody remember that from Lodge Alley? The garage where that sits right now, that's where the wall used to be. It went up past the Powder Magazine and started going south behind me, putting the Powder Magazine into the corners on purpose. It's protecting gunpowder.
Right.
So if it gets attacked from 3 blocks away from a pirate ship or Revolutionary warship, it's going to have a hard time making it this far, first off. Second, if it does make it this far, the walls are 32 inches thick. What have you heard?
I heard someone say like someone else is here.
Someone else is here. Okay, remember for me to write that down. 32-inch thick walls, it's going to have a hard time going through. We're going to pretend that it does, and it blows up the gunpowder. There's sand in the roof that was put there during its construction, early 1700s, that's designed to go up in the air with the explosion and then fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. Another great idea that doesn't work. So, we had another... You keep getting more?
Dead body.
Dead body. Yeah. We're going to see. I don't know if we have a dead body here, other than a cemetery. And that's, of course, Calhoun's starting to come through, which normally comes through in March because that's when he died and that's when he was born.
Yeah.
So March is a big month for Calhoun. So the dead body and somebody else is here. Got it. I have to write this down.
I got decomposed.
No shit. Sorry for the language, but that was a oh shit moment, guys. Sorry. But with everything that's going on between the two of you,
Decomposed.
I know he is. But there's a lot that I haven't even touched yet.
Why was the wall taken down?
Because we didn't need to fortify it anymore. So that was only to help protect the city. And then once things became a country, they started taking things down. Good question. Sand in the roof. It's still there. The sand doesn't decompose, and the heat didn't turn it into glass, surprisingly. So again, it's still there. We know that because we had to do some repairs to the roof before they turned it into the museum that you guys are looking at now. Because they pulled some of the uniforms and artillery from the wars it served in, which there were 7 of them. So 7 wars and 1 rebellion. But anyway, let's get into why we're here. During this building's construction, it took 10 years to make this small building. Does that sound like our government? 10 years, small building? No, not at all. So, the story begins right actually in the middle of it. I try to give you the history of the building first. 1708. Follow me, there's a lot of twists. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She moves here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Is everybody with me so far? Okay, the 3 of them running away from his wife. How pissed was she? You gotta leave the country and leave Ireland to land here. Just saying. They land in Georgetown, just north of here. Dad buys a plantation, mom died pretty quickly. So, yeah, who knows from what else? I don't think I know the exact answer to that. But that means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat. Anne back home in Ireland, kind of a badass. They say at the age of like 10 or 12 years old, she killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. So again, keep that mentality of this young lady as we kind of go through. Yes, we're discussing a pirate, so that kind of makes sense to all of you right now. So we're going to fast forward. The building was finished in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. So Anne's going to fall in love. That's what Anne does because she wants her freedom. So we're on guy number 1. I'm going to keep tally. There's a handful of them. Yes. Turn your video cameras off as we exit and lasers are back out of the game again. You can continue to ignore your readings because we're going to be passing by parking meters. Same goes for yours, Brandi. So I'm going to say, I'm pretty excited. You guys are getting the gist of these spirit boxes pretty quickly. So that was actually really nice. So thank you for reminding me about my own analogy of Bumblebee from Transformers because that's really how you're listening to these things. But the things I'm excited about, we did have at least 2 blue motions come through, so that was actually pretty close range motion on the millimeter that Jeanna's using. She also had a 33 milligauss reading show up, and we had some 15 show up on Brandi's. So what do those readings mean? Let me kind of give you a gist of what examples in your house. So your TV has a bunch of wires behind it. If we were to place Jeanna's device behind your TV, it's going to be about a 40 to 60 milligauss. So again, kind of keep that in mind. Your microwave running on high is going to be about 150 to 170 milligauss, and you're standing next to it with the door shut. The highest reading I've ever seen come out of that device has been in this location at 214 milligauss. Those are dangerous levels. That's like putting your head inside the running microwave. Like, again, it was a get the hell out of Dodge kind of moment. So for those of you running video cameras, so let's go ahead and stop those cameras. Go ahead and hit your square. And I made it that way
Wait, so
on purpose.
I forgot what I'm
This is
looking
the
for.
same big red barn that
So
held
when he
horses
uses
that
the
used to deliver
lasers, you're
milk
gonna,
and
like,
eggs
point
to the
through them.
residents of Charles.
Okay.
That's it. Keywords here being delivery, milk, eggs, and anything relatable to a stable. So let's talk about spirit boxes, and hopefully those will answer a lot of your questions. So, spirit boxes, this is not a Ouija board, this is not television. Everybody wants to ask the same question whenever they get a communication device to the dead. So, what do you think that question might be?
How'd you die?
Can you hear me? That's a good one. We'll take that. Because if somebody says no, or are you there, and somebody says no, that means somebody's there, or are you here? Obviously if there's somebody here, right? Because everyone will say, is somebody here? Right? You think of a Ouija board, you want that yes or no answer. We are not going to be asking yes or no questions all night long. Even if you guys are skeptics, which I don't think anybody here is, you're still here to have some fun and find a little bit of paranormal proof and question it just a little bit. So the whole point of this is so that you can actually hear specific details about these locations. That's why I'm giving you the keywords of, obviously, Big John's, 47 in New York, and all of that, delivery milk over here. So, those particular questions, when I'm teaching people how to use these spirit boxes, I would normally say, ask a question you already know the answer to. For example, if somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Obviously, we're looking and listening for the color red. And I don't know, is it Lisa?
Yeah.
Ah, perfect. Just want to make sure I didn't screw up your name. So I say looking because Lisa has a word list. She doesn't need to listen to anything. She's looking at it. However, the rest of you are using song lyrics and DJs to be able to convey messages back to us, and the word red might not be available to you, to them, to be able to, answer you directly. But fire truck, blood, heart, those 3 things are specifically red. So I would take that as an acceptable answer. What color is the big red barn? Blood. I'm good. However, most of the night, I'm going to require that there's at least 2 things happening to be able to verify each other. Another example. Let's say Lisa's word list has the word art on it. That doesn't mean anything over here by itself. But then Ian hears the number 40 on his spirit box. Together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. You guys see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
How we're going to be linking all the clues together? Again, a lot of these people have the same names of the colonial times that we're going to be talking about. We need to know who we're talking to. That's why we look for the secondary verifiers. Cameras. Let's get onto those because we have 2 of them in play. So, Peyton, first on yours, well, I guess all 3 cameras. We're going to be in spaces like this where people's cars are going to be parked or people are going to be walking through. We're not going to be YouTubers and following them around with our cameras, or are we going to be filming people's cars? So again, people get really funny about, my cameras and filming of cars. So as long as you continue moving and you're not filming somebody's car, you'll be good to go. Sometimes I do it, Andy's coming, and that way you're going to look like you're playing with a cell phone and you're just going to point yours straight at the ground. And Brandi, as far as yours, you're a tourist anyway, so by all means, take as many pictures as you want to. So, for here's Peyton, here's 2 things you're going to need to focus on. I know I told you not to film people, but I do want you to try to keep one of us in view. We're going to be the warmest thing out here. So that's going to give us the array of color. Much easier to find cold spots when you have an array of color. This is actually a nice cool night for us. I'm actually grateful for the 79-degree weather. But at the same time, try to keep one of us in view. Second thing you're going to try to do, keep the sky out of view. That blue dot I talked about earlier always goes to the sky because there's no surface. It's looking for a surface out of the sky, and there isn't one. So try to keep the sky out if you can. It's going to be impossible in some areas. Zoe, Angela, was it? Am I getting that name right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So point one of your lasers on the ground for me, buddy. Perfect. Look at you, man. You're a natural. So I don't want you pointing your camera down at the ground. So we already know what the green circles look like. You really want to just take a foot or 2 steps backwards, and you want to be filming because we're really looking for something right here. You see how that's going to show up on your camera? So that way, that's exactly what we're looking for. And the reason why we're using the lasers with that is because your lights show up like a Christmas tree on that camera. It's really easy to find when the motion actually goes through it. So again, if you're going to use both of them simultaneously, just make sure they're side by side and keep them nice and in control unless I direct you otherwise to point them straight out in certain areas that we can actually do that. But again, at the next space, you'll definitely be in full effect with lasers. So again, once we actually move on to the next space. Does anybody else have any other questions with their device? Because I do need to show Jeanna more about hers, but I'm not going to do that until the next area. All right, let's go get away from football players and ponies and deep dive into Charleston history then. So, good deal. That yellow reflective number 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to a parking lot, everybody. Congratulations, you made it. I told you I'm taking you to weird spots. So just keep in mind, I guess first and foremost, there are vehicles in here. So when we are out and about exploring this space, kind of keep in mind, stay away from the vehicles. It's not totally packed, so we're actually in good shape. But what is this space? I guess first and foremost, I need to tell the spirit boxes I am not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there at the Big Red Barn. So again, you will get the answers from your spirit boxes, and I'm going to withhold information on purpose, so that way you have a genuine experience. I'm not here to, make things up for you. So, what is this place? This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion actually sat in the front of this space. Eliza's garden was lined up with that 5 Church restaurant over there and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So, who the heck were these people? They had a son named Charles, they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. Y'all see why I need the secondary verifiers now? Yeah, I need to know which Chuck we're chatting with. Yeah, that's hard to say, Chuck chatting. I don't think I've ever tried that one before. So, I did pretty good on that one. But anyway, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a pretty big deal for us, but that's boring stuff, and I hate politics more than everybody else here, so we're going to move on. Let's actually get into a story. Eliza. We're going to talk about her. That's the mom of one of the signers. So Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to hear numbers like 12 and 14, just so you know. The reason I bring this up is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age when they married. I'm not going to give you what those answers are. Hopefully your spirit boxes will. But anyway, she married Charles because her father was over in England and he thought he was dying. He wants to bring all of his kids home because he wants to see them one last time. She didn't think he was dying, so she got married in 1744. She didn't marry him for a green card because they're not even a country yet. She married him out of love, and she was right. Her dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing now. Are you guys feeling a little bit of raindrops? Feeling a little bit. Sorry, lots of expensive equipment out. Raindrops for me are like a big deal.
but if it gets a little heavy, can you check the weather for me? But anyway, so, one of the gifts that he sent her, you guys have been in Charleston for at least a few hours that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. One of the things that he sent Eliza were plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes our blue jeans blue, so that you two are wearing it right now, because that's what we still use it for. She didn't know what to do with it when she got it. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it going, because it's not always hot here. When she figured it out, she calls her father and says, rice plantations are going downhill. We can make a killing with the indigo. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. This is something absolutely unheard of for this time frame. So, that's Eliza's business. Now let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why everybody's here. So, what do you think? Lear, we're going to give you some questions. So, one of the things that you're going to be asking your spirit box is what happened to the mansion. So, it's obviously not here anymore, and if you get an answer, because me and London are going to be bouncing around with everybody, ask when that happened. So, where's my spirit boxes over here? With yours, I want you to find out how many children she actually had. I know there's at least one, right, Charles? There's more. And what their names were. And hopefully you can get the answers out of your spirit box. So I normally don't go with this set of questions out of that one, but I'm pushing it tonight. I want to see how far it's actually going to go. Let's see, as far as your spirit box goes, I want you to ask